The sun was merciless in Manila, casting waves of heat that shimmered above the cracked pavements. Street vendors shouted for attention, selling roasted corn, fish balls, and ice-cold gulaman in plastic cups. The air was thick with jeepney smoke, the distant sound of tricycles rumbling, and the rhythmic pounding of hammers from a nearby construction site. Amid the chaos, a boy of 12 clutched his battered guitar, sitting cross-legged beside a church wall. His name was Miguel Santos. The guitar was nearly as old as he was, gifted by his late father who had played in roadside bands before illness took him away. Its wood was chipped, strings uneven, yet in Miguel's hands, it sang with a beauty that drew strangers to pause, even if just for a moment, from their hurried lives. Miguel's mother sold dried fish in the wet market, her hands always smelling of salt and sea. She had never once complained of poverty, but Miguel knew the weight of hunger, the humiliation of wearing torn slippers, the shame of being chased away by policemen while busking for coins. But when he strummed the guitar and sang, it was as if the world opened a window to light. That afternoon, as he started singing Hotel California, a song his father had loved, his voice, gentle but carrying the grit of life, rose above the city noise. On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair. A few bystanders slowed. A jeepney driver whistled. An old woman selling bananas even wiped her eyes. Miguel didn't sing for coins. He sang because music was his only bridge to a world beyond poverty. But life was cruel. The coins dropped in his open case were barely enough to buy rice for dinner. Still, Miguel kept playing, his young heart clinging to a dream his father once whispered. One day, Anak, your voice will take you far. Never stop singing. When Miguel returned home that night to their tiny shanty by the Pasig River, his mother was waiting with tired eyes. She asked, almost guiltily, Nak, maybe it's time to think of other work. Singing won't put food on the table. Miguel smiled through the pang in his chest. Mama, Papa said never stop. I'll make you proud. Someday. And as he drifted to sleep on the bamboo mat, clutching the old guitar, the stars above Manila blinked like distant promises. Months passed. Miguel's voice only grew more powerful, more soulful. Word spread among neighbors of the boy with the golden voice. One day, a foreigner passing by filmed him singing Hotel California and uploaded it online. The video went viral, millions of views within weeks. One morning, a letter arrived, creased and wrinkled from its long journey. It was an invitation. You are invited to audition for Asia's Got Talent, to be held in Singapore. Miguel's hands trembled. His mother wept. They had no money for plane tickets. But the community rallied. The sari-sari store owner donated. Tricycle drivers pooled change. Even the church held a small fundraiser. For the first time, Miguel felt the entire neighborhood lifting him on their shoulders, whispering, Go, Anak. Show the world. The day of the audition was overwhelming. Singapore's towering skyline dwarfed Miguel, who wore a borrowed shirt 2 sizes too big and sandals worn thin from walking. The arena buzzed with contestants, some with flashy costumes, expensive instruments, and entourages. Miguel had only his guitar and his mother by his side. Backstage, a producer asked nervously, Do you have a backing track? Miguel shook his head. Only this, he said, clutching the guitar. When his name was called, next up, Miguel Santos from the Philippines. His knees almost buckled. He stepped onto the massive stage, blinded by spotlights, dwarfed by the roaring crowd. 3 judges sat behind the long table, a pop diva with jeweled earrings, a stern music executive with folded arms, and a legendary rock guitarist with silver hair. Tell us about yourself, the diva said gently. Miguel's voice quivered. I'm Miguel, 12 years old. From the Philippines. I sing on the streets, to help my mama. The audience murmured. The rock guitarist leaned forward. And what will you sing? Miguel took a breath. Hotel California. For my papa. The music executive arched a brow. That's a hard song. Are you ready? Miguel nodded. His heart thundered. He strummed the first chord, hesitant at first, then stronger. On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair. The arena fell silent. His voice was raw, textured, carrying pain far beyond his years. Every word sounded like it had been carved from struggle and hope. By the second verse, the pop diva's eyes were glistening. By the chorus, the crowd erupted, cheering, clapping in rhythm. And then, as Miguel reached the climax, his voice soaring higher than anyone thought possible, something magical happened. The rock guitarist wiped a tear and whispered, "This boy, he's singing straight from heaven." When the last chord faded, there was a beat of silence. Then, thunderous applause shook the hall. Miguel stood frozen, clutching the guitar, unsure if he had done enough. Then came the words. "Miguel, you just turned this arena into church," the diva said, voice trembling. "You sang like your soul was on fire." The stern executive finally smiled. "I've heard thousands of auditions. None touched me like this." And before anyone else could speak, the legendary guitarist stood, slammed his palm onto the golden buzzer. Bam! Golden confetti rained down like a storm of stars. The crowd screamed. Miguel fell to his knees, tears streaming, as his mother ran on stage to hold him. His life had just changed forever. Golden buzzer moments went viral across the world. Overnight, Miguel was hailed as the boy who made judges cry. Television networks replayed his audition. Fans flooded social media with love. But fame was double-edged. While Miguel was celebrated, whispers of doubt spread too. Critics scoffed. "It's just a sob story. He'll never survive the live shows." Others mocked his old guitar and simple clothes. Behind the cameras, Miguel battled nerves and homesickness. Living in a foreign country, surrounded by luxury, made him feel like an imposter. He missed the smell of roasted corn, the warmth of his neighborhood, the gentle lullaby of his mother's voice. One night, during rehearsals, Miguel broke down. "I don't belong here," he sobbed to his mother. "They're all better. I'm just a boy from the slums." His mother cupped his face. "Enrique, your papa believed in you. I believe in you. Fame doesn't matter. What matters is your heart. Sing, Anak. Not for them. For yourself." And so he pressed on. During the semi-finals, Miguel sang another classic, pouring every ounce of pain into the notes. The judges praised him, but the pressure mounted. For every cheer, there were critics online calling him overrated. Miguel learned the harsh reality of fame, that the world applauds, but also tears down. Yet, every time doubt crept in, he remembered his father's words, echoing like a mantra, "Never stop singing." The grand finals arrived. The arena was packed with thousands, millions more watching on TV. Miguel walked onto the stage, trembling but resolute. His guitar had been repaired, polished, though its scars remained, like him. Tonight, he chose to sing Hotel California again. The song that carried his father's memory. The song that had brought him here. The crowd gasped. The diva judge whispered, "He's going back to his roots." The music began. Miguel closed his eyes, and from the first note, he wasn't just singing, he was living the song. His voice climbed mountains, swam through rivers, carried stories of hunger, loss, love, and hope. By the guitar solo, the legendary guitarist himself stood, eyes wet, whispering, "That's how the song was meant to be sung." When Miguel sang the final line, "You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave." His voice cracked, not from weakness, but from raw emotion. The audience rose in a standing ovation that lasted minutes. The judges were in tears again. "You reminded us what music is for," the diva said, trembling. "Not fame, not money, heart. The crowd chanted his name, Miguel. 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 The winner was about to be announced. The host's voice shook, and the winner of Asia's Got Talent is. The arena held its breath. Miguel Santos, from the Philippines. The confetti fell again. Miguel collapsed, sobbing into his mother's arms, whispering, "We did it, Papa. We did it." Scene 5, Beyond the Golden Buzzer, almost equals 2,000 words. Winning changed everything. Miguel was offered record deals, concerts, interviews. But he never forgot his roots. With his first earnings, he rebuilt his mother's house, sent money to the neighbors who had helped him, and started a small foundation for street children who loved music. He stood again on the streets of Manila, years later, guitar in hand. A crowd gathered, just as before. But this time, children looked at him with wide eyes, whispering, "That's Miguel Santos, the boy who made the world cry." Miguel knelt to one boy holding a toy guitar. "Never stop singing," he said, smiling. "Your voice can take you far." His father's dream had come true. His mother's tears were now tears of joy. And whenever he sang Hotel California, it wasn't just a song anymore, it was a story of love, struggle, and the miracle of hope. Because a poor Filipino boy had once sung with all his heart, and the world had listened.